So I had my granddaughter Ava sing that song with me. We've been singing it for as long as she could sing. And gosh, that song goes all the way back to my church camp days when I was a kid. But I've had it running through my head all week because most of you have probably heard about Bruno the bear, the black bear that's been traveling from Wisconsin to Missouri. And I saw a video of him swimming across the Mississippi River, so he must be in Missouri somewhere. And I was thinking about Bruno and watching him and his travels through videos and pictures that people have shared on social media. And while I was watching Bruno, I was thinking how wonderful to be that free. And at the same time, I also thought, as a human being, how awful to be that free and to be alone. Now, I didn't realize, so I just did a little looking, but bears, it's in their nature to be alone most of the time, unless they are a mother with a cubs or it is mating season. They spend a great deal of their time alone. And so it was in Bruno's nature, I guess. Seemed kind of out of the norm for us around here. For those of you that aren't from around here where I'm at, I live in Camp Point, but I serve a church in Bowen, Illinois. And Bruno was in Augusta, which is about 10, 15 miles from, probably about 10 miles from Bowen. And also came down Clayton Way, which is about same distance from Camp Point, about 10 miles. So it's highly unusual. In fact, we've traveled to Yellowstone in hopes to see a bear there, and barely caught a glimpse of one when we could have just traveled down the road to Susie Q's in Augusta and seen a bear there this last week. So anyway, getting back to freedom. This weekend, it is our Independence Day weekend. We celebrate our freedom as Americans, and we celebrate the Declaration of Independence that speaks of freedom and that all men and all humans, is how I take it now, are created equal, and that we have the right and the privilege to live life to the fullest, to celebrate our liberties, to have liberty, and also the pursuit of happiness. So freedom is something we are used to as Americans, and sometimes we probably take for granted, and we probably abuse our freedoms as well. I've never known any other way, but whenever I've seen anything about other countries that don't have our freedoms, I'm sure thankful to be an American, to live here. So today we're talking not only about American freedom, but we're talking about Christian freedom, which is a little bit different. So we've got Bruno the bear, and it's in his nature to be free, to find his way with his instinct and his survival skills. And he does it a lot of the time. Well, when we saw him, he was on his own, and bears often are on their own. But as Americans, we understand that our freedoms as Americans cost some their lives. And also, it's something that even though we celebrate independence, we are dependent on each other for our freedoms. In fact, throughout the years, there have been laws created so that we don't infringe on other people's freedoms, and those have had to be created so that we could live together peaceably and to keep order. Now, you think about Bruno's freedom, and you think about American freedom. Now let's talk about Christian freedom. Christian freedom is a little bit different because we're celebrating our independence this weekend, but as Christians, we should understand that we are fully dependent upon God, upon God's gift of His Son, Jesus Christ, of His sacrifice, and the gift of His life, death, resurrection, ascension, all of the things that He's witnessed to us and all that He's given us through that sacrifice of His Son, Jesus Christ. But we also, I lost my track. Just keep going.